Okay, I got a pot here. Water's just about to come to a rolling boil. You need a pretty big pot. Remember, it's got to be big enough to fit this dowel in. And it's not going to fit in that way. It's going to have to fit in at a slant. As long as you can submerge it all the way, we'll be okay. So I'm going to add mine in here. If they stick out a little bit, you know, that's okay. You're just going to want to flip them over during the boiling process. We're going to leave these. I should have cut this tail off. Sticking out. Oh well. We're going to leave these in here for about 15 minutes of boiling time. Make sure we got them nice and reset the coil or reset the memory on that weed trimmer line. Get it in the coiled form. So let's put a lid on it and wait 15 minutes. Okay, I've had that boiling for about 15 minutes now. So go ahead and cut the heat. Shouldn't have to say this, but I will anyway. Make sure you use a hot pad, use some tongs. Just play it safe around this boiling water. While it was boiling, what I did is I prepared a tray of ice water. So this is a bunch of ice and water. And make sure you get some kind of container that's long enough to hold these coils. You want to submerge them all the way. The ice will help weigh those down so they don't float up to the top. Now while it was boiling, I did flip these over once since part of the paracord was hanging out of the water. But because it was a rolling boil, it was getting it all wet anyway. So it could have been fine anyway. But get these all done. That's quick change from boiling hot to freezing cold. Will help these coils stay tight. So we're going to let those cool completely off. Alright, so I let these soak in the ice bath for about 20 minutes. I just pulled them out, letting them here dry a little bit. They don't have to be dry to work on them though. This one you can see I've already taken it off of the wooden dowel. Look at that. Now notice this isn't, the coil's not very tight. It's really loose. So, but don't be scared. You want to keep watching till the end of the video. I'll show you how to fix that so that it becomes a nice tight coil like that one. But what we need to do now is to add the ring terminals at the end so you can attach whatever clip or ring that you want on the end. So these are called ring terminals, and you get them at the in the electrical department at your home improvement store or hardware store. On a hardware store locally, I found these. You could buy them singly or you could buy them in packs. They're pretty cheap. If they come with the plastic, you can take that off with a pair of pliers pretty easily. The size doesn't really matter. I've always used the blue and the red ones, but we're going to pry open that end anyway so it'll fit over the paracord, so it doesn't matter what gauge you buy. But if you shop around, you'll find different thicknesses of the ring. See, this one's got a pretty nice thick ring compared to this one that's a little bit thinner. Of course, thicker would be more sturdy. But what we got to do first is get some heat shrink tubing. I use 3/16 inch size. These are 4-inch tubes. Doesn't matter how long. If it's 3/16 diameter, you cut it down. So I got these are about 1/2 inch. And you got to put these on before you attach your ring terminals. Oops, slipped out. Come on. I'm going to melt these to a finer point, so they'll slide through that heat shrink tubing a little easier. Remember this paracord's wet still, so it'll take a little extra attention to get it melted, but let's give that a try. There we go. Okay. Ooh, that's warm. Okay, so just get that down out of the way and do it on both sides. Alright, put the other end on there. Okay, so got those on. These ring terminals, just want to grab a couple of pliers. I use needle nose pliers to pry those open. And then just decide where you want it here. on the end of your lanyard. Put it right there. Just use a pair of pliers, or if you got a pair of these ones, you can use these to crimp it shut. Alright, see that? So put that on there. Do the same to the other side. Okay, and then once you have the ring terminals on each side, you're going to want to cut off that extra length of paracord. Right above where the crimp is. Give yourself about a 1/16 of an inch extra. Gives you some extra material there to melt down and kind of mushroom it over that terminal crimping, just to help secure it in there better. Okay, so go ahead and melt that down. That lighter's a little overkill. I'm going to use this one, this part here. There we go. I'm going to melt that shut. And then, careful, that terminal's going to be hot. There we go. Slide that heat shrink tubing right over the terminal on the end there, about as high as you could get it. And you can use a heat gun to shrink this, or just a regular lighter. You'll see it'll tighten up once you apply some heat to it. Just be careful not to burn your paracord. That'll shrink. This creates a nice finished look. And creates a smooth edge there around the terminal so you don't snag those sharp corners on anything. Alright, there we go. Do the same to the other end. Okay, here's the step I told you about. I got those terminals on there with the heat shrink tubing. Remember, I told you I'd teach you how to make this a tight coil to see how long and loose that is. What you want to do is you want to turn it inside out on itself. See what I did there? Just turn it inside out and then go all the way down the length of the coil. So you're just reversing the coil onto itself, and as you do this, it's going to snug it right up. Almost done here. One more. There we go. Now look how tight that is compared to how it was. So that's a nice tight coil. So that's how you do it. Now the last part leaves room for creativity. You can put whatever you want on the ends there. Any kind of carabiner, S-biner. Get these clips at your hardware store or online. You might have seen these McGizmo clips. Some key rings. I always put the key rings on there, or split rings, so that I could swap out the clips and put anything I want on there. Alright, here's the finished product. I just put a couple, left a split ring there. Haven't decided what to use this for yet. Put a clip on the other side. There it is. Hope you guys like it. I'd like to hear your ideas, what you're going to use these for. And anyway, I hope you learned something. Sorry if the video was a little sloppy. This is my second time doing it. It's pretty easy, but that and my cold, geez, I hope it wasn't too much to bear. Hope you learned something, had a good time watching, and I hope you make your own. Thanks!